Hi, welcome back to Dr. Vasu's lectures. And in continuation of our C language, we are going to see variables and constants in this. So, what are variables? Variable, it is there in the name itself. It varies. It takes different values. It can take different values. Its value can be varied. So, a variable can be an integer, a floating point that is having decimal place numbers, or a character, right? So I want to declare something as a variable. Let us see how. In the program, already we have seen this, and here is the way of actual declaration of a variable. This A or B or C, X, sum, number, for number, num, all these are declared as integers. Similarly, marks, percent for percent, PCNT, score, all these are because they may be having decimal places. They are declared as float. Similarly, P, Q, these are declared as characters. So like this, they must be declared in the beginning of the program itself, right? Okay. Now, so if you like these lectures, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to Dr. Vasu's lectures. And I send your ideas and comments through comments. Okay, I'll see all the comments, and I have actually designed all these lectures to understand C programming very well. By just listening to them, you will understand all the intricacies of C programming. Okay, thank you. Next. Coming to these variables, naming of these variables, how it is done. They can be like this, single character can be used, some letter, right? A, B. They can be small letters or capital letters, or even a group of letters, some, right? Like this, or even lengthier than this, right? Length more than 3-4 characters, like total accounts. The naming should be understandable, simple, and once even after some time, if you recollect or if you review your programming, you should be able to understand what for this variable name is taken. So for that, the naming should be proper in that way. So here, suppose if I want to have a clear picture, I can have a name like this also. Marks of a student in subject 1. But one thing is, there should not be any spaces. That's why underscore is taken. So underscore is allowed. Underscore can be there, and no spacing should be there, right? Next. X10, you can have X1, A1, B1, X10, X100, A100, whatever it is. But it should start with a letter only, right? A character. Next. Small a and capital A both are different, right? Here, because they carry different ASCII values, they are treated differently. So this is a, small a is different, capital A is different. Similarly, this for some number, I have taken num. This num is different from this and this. Why? Here, all are small, only first one is bigger, all are capitals, and only first and end are capitals. So all these are treated differently by the system. So we must be careful in writing, and when you are using these variables, suppose you have declared like this and you try to reuse that like this using capital N, it treats it as a different way. So this sort of mistakes should not be done. Next. These are some of the names which are not permitted. What are they? The reserved characters, special characters, this dollar, at the rate of symbol, all these types of are not permitted, right? They are all reserved for a certain purpose. So they are not used, cannot be used. And sum of numbers, it appears to be good. Sum of numbers I want. right? But it has spaces. Spaces are not allowed. If you want to have the same thing, you just have an underscore here, underscore, that is allowed then. Next. It should not start with a number. It should, you can have accounts 5 or accounts 1, account 2, account 10, but not with a number in the beginning. Suppose if you want to have these 5 accounts, you can write FIVE5, but not number. Next. There are certain numbers, certain words which are used by the system. In writing your program in the system, we are using this int for integer, for a decimal float, decimal values, and do, if, while. All these are being used for a specific purpose. That's why we are not allowed to use them in naming the variables. There are some more reserved words also. These are all called reserved words, and we should not use them for declaration of any variable or constant. So next, this is good, day and day in a particular year. You see, it's becoming difficult to understand even. I cannot even pronounce it properly, right? So it's too long and not even clear. No, without any spaces, it becomes difficult for me to also to understand and reuse that. So too long should not be there. Next, this is also too long. This is understandable because I put an underscore here. This is very clear, but too long. If you want to reuse this again and again, you have to type this much every time. In that, one particular thing is you should not make any small mistake of even, suppose in place of Delhi, you have written small d. In capital D, you have written small d. What happens? Every time it shows an error. You will not be able to understand whether why the name of everything is okay, correct, perfect. But what happens? We may not be able to catch that error. So this sort of things should not be there. So even if you want to type this much long, it takes a longer time. Okay, next. Very simple purchase date. Excellent. You can just have a underscore and have a very simple purchase date. It indicates your purchase date value. So our account balance. You see, instead of having this much long, this one, I just had a account balance. Okay. So the naming should be simple like this. These values, variables can be integers, right? Like whole numbers or zero or even negative numbers, right? Integer variables can carry any of these. Similarly, float point variables also can be positive or negative, having decimal places. So floating point variables can be like this. Character variables, they are characters. They are assigned as these characters. They can be small characters or bigger one, capitals or special characters. They can be used. Okay, next. Using constant, or this is all about the variables. Next, coming to the constants, we have to define, as we have defined variables, we have to define these constants also. How? There are two methods. Using const, that is for constant, or by defining hash define. We'll see how it is. They are also called as literals. They can be also called as literals. There are numeric constants, right? Integer constants. And here, when you are using integers, the prefix says what type of system it is, whether you are using a decimal system or octal system or hexadecimal system, you must be clear. Even a Boolean binary number. When you are using a binary number, you should say that this is a binary. That is, the indication is 0b or capital or small b in the beginning. That indicates it is a binary number. So we must be clear in declaring. This coming to the decimal system, when you take the base, that is generally we are using this decimal system only, and the base is 10, and these numbers can be positive or negative, right? But the thing is, they should not start with 0. We already have seen, if you haven't, you can verify in the previous videos also. If it starts with 0, it is an indication for octal number. So the octal is one which is having a base 8, right? Which is a number. Suppose if I want to write 1, 2, 3, 4. This 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to say that it is in octal system, it should start with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That meaning is 1, 2, 3, 4 is a number. It is in octal system. So the leading 0 indicates octal. So hexadecimal, it starts with the 0. Its base is 16. It starts with the leading 0, X or capital X. 0, small x or capital X. Binary, again, it should start with either 0, small b or capital B, like this. Then it will be clear. We understand that system understands, and there won't be any mistake in doing anything. They can be, and also they can be signed or unsigned. Signed means they can be positive or negative. Unsigned, only positive values. Similarly, long and double. Long, when the numbers are bigger, we have seen. If you haven't, please verify these data types. In the data types, we have clearly discussed these long and double, all this. So the numbers which are bigger numbers are declared as long and double. And also floating point constants, decimal form or exponential form. In what form we have to indicate all this. So here, coming to the decimal system, a number just 31, it is in a decimal system. It's very clear, nothing is in front of it. A octal number should have a 0 in the beginning. A hexadecimal number, 1F is the hexadecimal. It should have 0x in the beginning, right? 0. This x can be capital or small letter. Similarly, this f also can be small or capital, like this. Next, long integer, suppose octal and hexadecimal also, they can have a suffix in the end. They can have either small or capital L in the end. That indicates that integer is long. Similar, unsigned long constant in hexadecimal. Suppose I have taken just C. C is the number. C, we can have a number C. This is a number in hexadecimal. How do we understand? This is 0x. That means it is in hexadecimal number. Okay, fine. Coming to this UL, unsigned long. This is an indication for unsigned long integer. Okay, next. In decimal system, very simple. It is 15. 15 is a decimal system, like that. So these constants, character constants, they can be declared with single quotations, right? A character, single character A, I want to declare. It must be specified in single quotation. Character constant that has these, all the characters, all the numbers, all these are having a specific value in ASCII. ASCII numbers are given, ASCII values. Suppose if you take example, if you take some character 0, its ASCII value is 48. Like this, each character, number or special character, they are having these ASCII values. Capital A, it is 65. Capital B, it is 66. Small a, 99. Small b, 98. Small c, 99, like that. Or hash 35. Like this, every character, this one, number and special characters are having ASCII values. Similarly, declaring a constant, a string constant should be within double quotes. A single character, only single character within single quotes. A string constant is defined within double quotes. So, and also very interesting feature is a backslash and character constants are also there. And so to declare, suppose I want to have a new line character. This is a character, right? For new line, we are using a backslash n. And here we can have this backslash character defined and we can use it in separately. We'll see that how it is. Similarly, we have backslash t for a tab. Tab in the sense, suppose if you want to have some gap, some tab space between some columns, then we can have this tab. Similarly, to have gap in vertically, we have a vertical tab, right? Carriage return, some backslash r, and I suppose I want to have a alert, a small beep in the program. Suppose if I want to introduce a small beep whenever I commit a mistake, then in that case, you can have this alert. For that, you can incorporate or declare a constant character backslash a. Like that, a single quote can be declared or a double quote, backslash double quote, or even a backslash also can be defined by like this, backslash, backslash. So after this backslash, you can have whatever you require. Let us see how they are implemented. Next, how these constants are to be used. Suppose I want to declare a constant value, a 10 to a. That means I'm declaring an integer value, right, to a. It is a constant. Throughout that program, we'll be having this value of a as 10, right? Next. Similarly, b, its value is defined. It's an integer. Suppose I want to declare a long value, long constant. Then a long constant can be also declared, but in the end, you must have either small L or capital L. Unsigned long. In this place, you will have unsigned long, either capitals or small letters. Another way of defining or declaring constants is, one way is constant like this. Second method is hash define pi 3.14. This is called pre-processing statement. This is a pre-processing. It is declared above the main. We use the main function. Above that main function, we have to use this define, right? This hash define, that pi value is declared like this. And whenever you use pi, it takes the value 3.14, like that. You can define anything. Length is defined as 15 and width is defined as 10. That means this whenever you use this length in that particular program, it is treated as 15 only. It won't change. Similarly, a new line can be declared as like this. A float value declared like this, right? It can be even exponential, right? A double value or a long double, like this. So this way we'll be declaring the constants. We'll see how they are to be used. By simple program, I write a program and we'll see how it is used. We are declaring L and B as constant values, constant integers. L is 10, B is 5. And we are using them, we are going to write a program. That is, we are going to calculate the area. Area is declared as float. Area is equal to L into B, printf. Area is equal to, in this printf area, we have to get this value, area. So L into B gives 50, and let us see how much we get it. If you compile and execute the program, we get the output area as 50.6 decimal places. Because we have declared this and we want to display this as a float, we got these decimal places. So this area, we have got it like this. Next. Another way of declaring constants is this. Already we have seen in the before writing a main program, main function, we are declaring the constants like this. Define, hash define, length is 15. Here, semicolon is not necessary. These statements which are above this main are not necessary, need not have this semicolon. The semicolon is only for the statements within the main function, right? Next, we are defining width as 10. And now here comes the main. And the program, the actual program starts here. Before this, we have declared these values. These are called preprocessor statements. Preprocessing is done here like this. Now, integer area. I have declared integer as area because I have taken this length and width as integer values, right? Now, integer area. I want to display it. Calculate area using length into width. Display. I'm using integer here because I have declared as integer. And return. Now execute the program. You get area is equal to 15 into 10, 150. Okay. Now let us see, let us make small changes in this and see what happens. We are going to declare them as 15.0, right? A float value. Similarly, width also 10.0. Even though it has of no significance, I have declared it as 15.0, right? And I'm going to declare this area as float and display it as float also, right? And area is calculated. If you observe the output is obtained here like this because the display is in float decimal places. All the decimal places comes here. So that's how we declare we have to define and declare these variables or constants properly. Now, suppose I have defined a pi value here 3.14. I want to calculate the area of a circle. So I'm taking this area and radius as r as floats, right? They can have decimal places. Enter the radius of it is asking the user. So once you enter, it is taken to the r. It is assigned to r. And now it calculates area is equal to pi. This pi value is used. Just pi is sufficient. So means 3.14 into r, pi r square. That I want to display this area here as a float because it is declared as float. Now, enter radius. It is asking to enter the radius value. I have entered 5, right? And now it is giving an output, calculating pi r square. It gives an output which is in the float form, decimal form, right? So like that, we'll be declaring the variables and using them in the program like this. Suppose I have declared a new line character here, right? A new line, I want to use this \n, and by not using this \n, I just want to use new line and use I want to get the same result as \n gives. Let us see what happens. We have taken main program. I have written a first line of the program and I haven't entered any new line character here. That is \n is not there. But I have taken 2 characters here, 2 percentage character. I want to indicate 2 characters, right? I want to display 2 characters. What are these 2 characters? These are 2 new line. New line means here it is declared as \n. That means here in this place I should get 2 new lines. Let us see how we get it. How we get it. In the again I have written some line, second line of the program, and end the program. Compile and execute. You get the first line of the program, fine. right? This is the first line. Second line comes after two lines. For this, from here, next line is here, and the next line. Two lines are skipped here. Two lines. After two lines, you got this one. That means this new line, you need not have this new line. You can have some A or B or C, whatever it is, something like. If you just, for your understanding, just we have written a new line, or suppose just you write A. A will be, here you write A, that is sufficient. That A will give the same result, same output. So now, suppose in the same lines, I want to declare a constant A. I want to have a single quote here. Okay. Similarly, I want to have double quote here. And these must be within the single quotes. Next, I define C as a backslash. Okay. All these must be within the single quotes and a backslash. After this backslash, whatever you have, you will get it. So here a single quote, double quote, and a backslash. Now, I write the program. I want to have, I have declared it as a, I want to display it as a character. What character I want to get? A. A means single quote. Similarly, another character here, which is a single quote, right? So I want to have this one within single quotes. Similarly, I want to have B and B here in these two places. That is, I want to have double quotes here. This entire line should be within double quotes. And this must be, this entire message should be within double quotes here. Two backslashes. Two backslashes here and two backslashes here. Clear? And I just gave a small gap here. And two characters I want to have, two characters I want to have here. So that's why I have taken 4 backslash characters here. C is taken 4 times. If you compile and execute this program, you will get the output like the first one, line with the single quotes. You got the single quotes here. You see, A and A, single quotes are displayed. Next one, double quotes, B and B. Double quotes have come here, 2 double quotes. Similarly, 2 backslashes should come here and 2 backslashes should come here. So this line with backslash, this entire message, we got it in 2 backslashes in the beginning and 2 backslashes in the end. Like this, you can have a tab, a vertical tab, or an alert like this. Okay. So suppose if you have an alert in place of C, suppose if I write A here, right, is C is declared as an alert. Whenever you get this line printed, it gives a small beep, right? Like that will be utilized. So these are all the various variables and constants in C. In the next video, we are going to see the type conversion or typecast or data conversion. Okay. If you like these videos, please subscribe and comment. Thank you very much.